We are back live, another episode. What's today? Sunday, October 26th. I am your host, Dave, 10 plus year intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. And hey, man, I feel like I haven't done this in a couple weeks, so I'm glad to be back talking to you guys. We have a lot of stuff to get off into. Shark Tank is back, so we'll be talking about that. I named this one confusion as well as layoffs because you got this kind of Delta thing. Delta Airlines sues Delta Hotels, which is owned by Marriott now. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're talking about Anheuser-Busch being sued by a brand over there, kind of vodka. So we'll talk about that. What else do we have? We have the interview of the week, Spleash. I love this interview. I love the inventor of Spleash, the dog leash. So we'll talk about that as well. Spelhouse, for you HBCU fans, Morehouse, Spelman, they combined their names, Spelhouse, and filed for a trademark application. So we will talk about that. And then last but not least, Amazon. And I got some strong thoughts on this one as a patent attorney. Amazon is laying off 600,000 people. And I know a lot of people that's working in the plants. And if you're working in the plants and you're watching this, hey, you may want to kind of start looking elsewhere because this is only the beginning of these layoffs, of these fires. And I'll tell you why from my personal experience as a patent attorney. So again, we have a lot to get off into. I do want to break you guys with this story, not the story, but a message that I got. I typically put out the content, IG, YouTube, Facebook, whatever the case may be. And I had got reached out to by one of my old teammates at Michigan State University. And if I said the name, you would know them. So I'm not going to say the name, but let's just say this guy got drafted in the first round of the NFL, made tens of millions of dollars playing football in the NFL. And he reached out to me about his brand. I'm going somewhere with this story, so just kind of stay with me here. So he like, hey, man, I need you to help me protect my brand. I think my people's dropped the ball. And he was talking about his agency. So back in 2021, he filed for a trademark. I'm not going to say the name of the trademark. And it was allowed. But when your trademark is allowed, you still have to complete the process by submitting a specimen, what we call, pretty much showing that you're using your mark in commerce. And his team never filed that specimen. Therefore, his mark went abandoned in 2022. Now, he's reaching out to me last week. So we're in 2025, October. He's like, hey, man, I need you to help me file this trademark again to protect the brand. And somebody had just filed this trademark, the exact same name in the exact same class back in October of July of this year. So he reached out to me a couple months too late. And you can tell the pain in his voice when I had to break the news to him like, hey, you can't protect your trademark because somebody else has filed a trademark application. So to the extent that we filed for a trademark application at this point, man, we're just wasting money. And I don't know if you guys saw Friday Night Lights when Boobie Miles, the star running back, got hurt, and he went up to, I think, the doctor, and they told him he can't play football, and he was kind of going up at the doctor, like, you telling me I can't play football? My football career was over. That's the pain that I felt when he was talking to me, like, what you mean I can't use my mark? Man, I've been using this mark forever, man. This is me, and so forth and so on. And I kind of gave him some tips on how to kind of get through the situation and potentially get ownership of the trademark application. But that story is to illustrate, man, a couple of important points. Number one, and make sure you're filing this trademark stuff sooner rather than later, especially if you're actually using it. I know a lot of times people are kind of in limbo, don't know if they really want to use the mark, but if you're using your trademark, you need to make sure you're filing that trademark application sooner rather than later before your brand gets too big and then only come to find out that you can't use the mark because somebody else filed for the trademark on. Then number two is, man, make sure you are not relying on your team to close a loop on something. Make sure you're following up with them, checking up on them, man. That's really for everything. Even when I do my taxes, man, I'm going to my CPA and I already know what I should get back because I done did the numbers and I'm just kind of like that. So when he come back and it's like off, I'm like, hey, man, you forgot to do this or you forgot to do that. He's like, oh, yeah, my bad. So man, you got to make sure you're following up with these people that you're hiring to do something and not just give them exclusive autonomy and power to think that they're doing something, because I guess he thought his team was filing a trademark and they did file it and they got allowed, but they didn't close the loop. So and that cost him his trademark in all likelihood. Maybe he's able to convince the guy to give him the trademark application or give him rights to it, but he had to pay some money, and there's going to be a lot more than what he would have paid just filing a trademark. So, man, hopefully you guys kind of understood that story, but that was my Monday. So I had that Monday morning, had that call, my former teammate, former NFL player, telling him that he can't file his trademark because somebody else filed for the trademark that he should have got. And I can tell you that conversation was not a pretty conversation. He wasn't going off on me, but I heard the pain in his voice as he was telling me that, hey, what you mean I can't get my trademark? So that was tough to go through. So make sure you are protecting this stuff, man. This stuff is extremely valuable, making sure you're protecting this stuff. Before we kind of get to the BS for today. I want to kind of go through some of the good stuff. So this is Carrie Cook, and she invented this dog leash. And we're going to play a snippet of the interview. And again, let me know, first of all, let me hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button. Your boy growing. I got some, memberships that I was telling my chief content officer that I just got some memberships. So people are signing up for that. I had an interview with the Gilbert Arenas thing. It's at 42,000 views right now. I think that interview got me like 1,000 subscribers. So we're approaching 5,000 subscribers. So we growing. We got some other stuff that we're kind of coming out with. So be on the lookout for that. But again, man, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. To the extent that you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and make sure you comment, man. Let me know where you're from. If you got a question on IP, put that in the chat. Your boy, my billing rate is almost 400 hours, so $400 an hour. And this is probably going to be the only time this week, or maybe this month for that matter, that you're going to talk to an attorney, be able to ask many questions on copyright, patents, and trademark. Or if you just want to say what up, man, tell me what up in the comment section. So hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're participating and commenting as we kind of go through the show here. I'm not going to make it a long one. Hopefully it only lasts like 45, 50 minutes so we can get off. And I'm trying to go to the cigar lounge later on tonight to watch the game. But Spleash, Carrie Cook, she was on Amazon show Buy It Now, but she has a phenomenal product, which I'm going to play a snippet from the interview, but it's essentially a dog leash. And we have a lot of dog lovers out there. So it's a dog leash, or it's a dog leash handle that you can connect your leash to. So it's whatever leash you have, you can connect it to. And it allows you to walk your dog to the extent that your dog is thirsty during a walk. It doubles as a water bowl. And then if you want to kind of spray your dog paws off or kind of spray other dogs or animals to kind of keep them away, it has that function as well. So I told her on this interview, this is from an engineering standpoint, it's one of the coolest products that I've seen, as well as utilitarian, the utility of it. The fact that it acts as a dog bowl, a dog leash handle, and then kind of maybe a sprayer to keep dogs off, or even kind of wash your dog paws off. This thing is pretty cool. So let me kind of tee up that interview here. We're just going to play a snippet of that interview, but man, Carrie, she's cool, man. She's cool. Here we go. And go check out that interview. I'm gonna play a snippet here and go from there.
For proving, yes, this thing is really strong and can pull a truck, and people would be like, wow, that's so cool. But some of the first comments on the video were, just train your dog so you wouldn't have to deal with a pulling dog. And I was just like, no. But the internet is interesting, and that those first couple comments really helped the video go. And I think it's got just under 2 million views now.
So in that snippet, Carrie, she was talking about how when she put out one of her videos, which ends up being a big video for, I think she said I'm not sure if it was on IG or TikTok or whatever, but it ended up doing like 2 million views. You have the negative comment where she was pulling a truck, showing how strong and how durable her dog leash handle was. And then you have the negative comments under it. And she was in that clip. She was like, man, they just don't get it. I'm not necessarily trying to say, hey, no, about pulling your dog. You're just kind of going towards the durability and the strength of the handle. And that kind of brings me to a point where when you're going through this entrepreneurship journey, don't get it twisted. My job, the whole point of my show is to try to get you guys to become entrepreneurs. And I'm coming out with some product, a physical product here pretty soon. Man, you're going to have to follow me on Patreon or follow my Patreon, because I'm going to be, each step of the way, I'm going to be essentially giving you the step-by-step, doing these interviews with my product design team, with my manufacturer, with marketing. We're going to go through the steps so I can show you guys how to do it. You guys can learn from me. Hopefully your boy make $1 million, but to the extent that I mess up, you guys be able to see that in real time and learn from me. So, but I'm saying all this to say that you're going to have negativity along that journey. But in a lot of cases, that negativity ends up in a weird way being positivity. She was saying that, a lot of some negative comments some negative comments on that video. However, the video did 2 million views, which again, really put them on a map, put her product on a map. So like I said, I think this is one of the more, I've seen a lot of products over the years, just being a patent attorney. This is one from an engineering standpoint. It's amazing engineering to a T. And then the utility of it, all the functions, the features that it has. This thing is cool. So if you are a dog lover, definitely go check out Spleash, the dog leash, as well as go check out that interview. I think that interview did well. It's doing well. That just dropped on Wednesday. So go check out that as we move along here. I know we have a couple people in here, man. Let me know what you guys are, where you guys are from, where you guys tuning into. And to the extent that you have a question, let me know that in the comment section as we move on here. And this is an interesting one. Delta. I got some comments about this for a number of reasons. A lot of people think that this whole chat GPT is going to take over. And this is a number of reasons why. And I tell people this all the time. If you are an experienced businessman or woman, you are going to know the differences between a good attorney and using chat GPT. This is an interesting, and I did a more of a full breakdown on this, but I'm gonna give you guys the highlights on this one. So you have Delta Hotels, which Marriott bought back in, I think, 2015. Then you have Delta Airlines, which we all know is one of the airlines. And typically you can use Delta for a number of things, right? So you have Delta Dental or Delta Insurance, you have Delta Airlines, you have Delta Faucets, the faucets that's owned by Delta. So this word Delta is not exclusively owned by Delta Airlines. And this is one of the things that a good trademark attorney is going to be able to tell you, that, okay, the USPTO is allowing a number of this word to be used and protected in a number of classes. So that wasn't the issue. However, Delta Airlines or Delta the hotels, when Marriott bought it in 2015, you don't want to be walking into a lawsuit, right? So Delta, Marriott, in buying Delta Hotels from I think a Canadian company, they ended up doing a deal or agreement, a coexistence agreement is what we call it, with Delta Airlines, pretty much saying, hey, we can both use this mark without one of us suing each other. Because Delta or Marriott don't want to buy Delta Hotels if they're walking into a lawsuit, which is good, right? It makes sense. So they both enter into a coexistence agreement to make sure that, hey, we're not suing each other. However, that coexistence agreement only applied to China and Hong Kong. That's one of the good things. You got to listen to me. One of the good things about this intellectual property is you can have different protections in different geographical locations. So you can protect it in the U.S. You can have, the U.S. carved out as a protection state. You can have Canada carved out. You can have Europe. You can have China, Hong Kong. So that coexistence agreement between the Marriott and Delta Airlines only applied to China and Hong Kong. So now Delta Airlines sues Delta, Marriott and Delta Hotels in the U.S. because the U.S., that market is not carved out in that China-Hong Kong agreement. Hopefully you guys picked up what I'm putting down. So I don't like to blame patent attorney. I mean, attorney, we got to stick together. However, somebody definitely dropped the ball, because if you enter into this coexistence agreement, it only applies in China and Hong Kong, where clearly the biggest market is the U.S. You want to make sure that U.S. market is included. Somebody definitely dropped the ball. So again, Delta Airlines sues Delta or Marriott and Delta Hotels. And even though, I see both ways, because on one end, hotels is different from airlines. However, hey man, Delta Hotels, I see those near the airport. I'm in Detroit, and I think at DTW, which is the airport here in Detroit, I think you have a Delta Hotels that's near essentially the airport. So now it becomes a likelihood of confusion of thinking that, okay, Delta Airlines has this hotel called Delta Hotel. So that's kind of where it starts to get a little bit confusing, in my opinion. And I think that this is a toss-up. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I see we have some people who, what's the name? What's going on? Christian Lennon, the young founder, man. Let me know what your question is. It seems like you have a question. Put your question in the chat. Let me know what your question is, Christian. But as I get back to kind of the story on Delta. So that's essentially what's going on in this Delta Airlines that's suing Delta Hotels, which again is owned by Marriott. Marriott purchased it in 2015, and they sued them for copyright infringement. This definitely could have been avoided. However, it seems like somebody dropped the ball. So let me know what you guys think about that as we move on to the next subject. And this is a quick one, man. This is going to be a quick hitter right here. Spelman. I tell you what, man. I went to a PWI. You see the jersey in the background. However, every year I go down to Jackson State. And I believe that I missed out on my my HBCU experience. That homecoming down at Jackson State is fire. So in this case, Spelman, which essentially I didn't realize this, Spelman is an all-girls school in Atlanta, and Morehouse is an all-boys school in Atlanta. It seems like they cross the street from each other. Let me know if we have any HBCU grads or HBU alumni in the building. In the chat, let me know what HBCU went from. But apparently these two HBCUs kind of collaborate a lot, sister brother type thing. And it seems like they just filed for a trademark called Spellhouse, which is cool. And again, this is one of those things where you see the mark. You see the Spellhouse on the left-hand side in the jersey. Seems like Morehouse and Spelman secure a Spellhouse trademark. Now, they didn't, the article, this is what I'm telling you, man, the article, they don't know what they be talking about. They didn't get a registered trademark yet. They filed for a trademark application. The trademark application is still pending. Again, it's a good thing that they filed on it at least. However, it's not a registered trademark. Spelman, Morehouse, they filed for a trademark on Spellhouse. And I think they will get it. But shouts out to them for protecting that intellectual property, in this case, a trademark. And looks like they're trying to make some money off of it by way of these jerseys and other clothing apparel. So again, let me know, to the extent that you are watching this and you're an HBCU grad, let me know where you're from. I got a nephew who went to Central State. Like I said, I go to Jackson State every year for homecoming, and that shit is fire. Whether you're from Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, let me know in the chat, man. I know we'd be having a lot of HBCU graduates out here as we kind of move on to, which one do I want to do next? I'm going to do the Shark Tank. So I do these Shark Tank breakdowns. And this was an interesting, actually all these episodes of the pitches from Shark Tank this past week were actually pretty fire. But I think this one was kind of stood out to me. So I had a dog growing up, but I didn't realize that people are that. I didn't realize that when you travel with your dog, if it's a big dog, they put it in the cargo. They put it, when you put your luggage in. I think that's crazy. I found that out today when I was watching Shark Tank and doing this reaction video. So this company called Retriev Air, it's an airline service that you can essentially sit with your dog. Your dog don't have to be in the cargo area. If you got a big dog, you can either get it a seat or you can have it right next to you on the ground of the airplane. I think it's like $775 on average is the ticket. And if you don't want to kind of purchase your dog a seat, then there's no additional cost. You can just have your dog by your feet. But if you want to get your dog a seat, then it's, essentially an extra $775. So let me know, for all you dog lovers out there, would you do it? Would you pay for it? Would you pay $775 so that you, number one, can have your dog sit next to you on a plane, not in a seat, but next to you by your feet? Or are you that type of dog lover, if you got to go to Retriever or a Great Dane or whatever the case may be, that you would get your dog a separate seat for an additional $775? That seems extreme to me. But, I had a dog growing up and I like dogs, but that seems pretty extreme to me. But I think on the other side, it's extreme to put your dog in like a dog cage and, throw it in the cargo. So both of them sounds extreme to me. But again, I'm just a comment man. So let me know in the comments, what would you guys, do you guys prefer this? I think, like I said, I think it's crazy. I did a reaction video on that. The company is called Retriev Air. They got a deal on Shark Tank with Serena Williams' husband, Alexa, which I think is a crazy name, but Serena Williams' husband was a guest shark on Shark Tank this week. And it seems like these two guys, what was their names? Betton and Mark Williams, they did a deal with Serena Williams' husband for their company, Retriev Air. So shouts out to them. Go check out that episode in that reaction video on Shark Tank that just came out today. Is doing pretty good. So like I said, I seem like we got a couple people in here. Let me know where you guys are from as we kind of continue to move along here. And I got something to say on this one. So you guys have to bear with me on this. Amazon is cutting. We're going to listen to the chief technology officer from Amazon and what he's saying about this. But y'all got to listen up to me. And I know a lot of people who they work at plants. Man, if y'all working in a factory, y'all need to be looking for y'all exit strategy. I'm telling y'all, as a patent attorney, I work with multiple companies, big and small, Fortune 500 companies, as well as startup companies. And I filed a ton of patent applications on these robots with end effectors that's automating a job. That's essentially, if you are working in a plant, if you're working in a factory, they're essentially coming for your job. So I filed a lot of these patent applications. So I got really intimate knowledge on where this is going. And to the extent that you are in a factory, whether it's, automotive, whether it's you're making supplier parts with, for automotive cars or otherwise, you probably want to try to kind of look for your exit strategy, because this is not going to end well for you guys. Like I said, I filed a number of patent applications. But so this, I think his name is Ty Brady, is the chief technology officer at Amazon. And he's talking a little bit about this. So let's kind of cue it up. Let's see what we can glean out of it. And I'm going to continue to give you guys my thoughts on this as well. So let's go.
There's a bunch of press that we have here, and we made a couple of big announcements in robotics today.
Can you tell us about them?
But the first is in our manipulation robot that we call Blue Jay. And what Blue Jay, the way that you can think of that is that you can take 3 assembly lines and put it in the same footprint of 1. What it does is help eliminate the.
So who working on these assembly lines? People. He said, look, you could put 3 assembly lines in the same footprint as 1. Who you think that's gonna cut out? Go cut out these people, man. I'm telling y'all better hear what this. This is the Chief Technology Officer of Amazon. His name is Ty, and he's at this conference unveiling some of their kind of future robotic plans. Let's go.
Menial, the mundane, and the repetitive, and it could pick more than 75% of the inventory that we actually sell in our sortable network, which is a really big deal. I'm really proud of that. And I'll also say there's just something interesting about Blue Jay as well, as compared to our other bird manipulation systems, Cardinal, Sparrow, and Robin. It took us about 3 years to kind of design, deploy, and get out to our frontline employees. We have actually done Blue Jay with the power of AI in just over a year. So it's really heavily accelerated the pace of innovation.
I think when a lot of people think about Amazon and robots, I just want to jump in because we don't have a ton of time, but we'll get to some of the other announcements. They think about the Kiva Systems robots, the big acquisition at the time, 2012. That was a big acquisition for Amazon, and they've seen pictures of the way that those can move large loads of things across warehouses. But if you were to go into a state-of-the-art Amazon warehouse today, what would you see that's in addition to those Kiva robots?
Yeah, in addition to the world's first goods-to-person fulfillment strategy, which was just a really good idea, where we have more than 1 million robots that we manufacture actually in Massachusetts doing that.
And look, actually, I was doing a panability search for a client, and this client was a small client earlier today. I'm gonna get back to the video in a second, but I was doing a panability search for a small client, and it was on like an end effector. So an end effector tool is a tool that helps grasp different objects, whether it's a tire or a vehicle part or whatever the case may be. And in a search, I came across a number of patents that were owned by Amazon. So Amazon is filing a lot of patent applications in this robotic space, this end effector space, which again, he said they got 1 million robots. I'm telling y'all, if y'all in a plant, y'all need to be looking for y'all exit strategy, because it's not going to end well if you stay there the next 5-10 years. It's going to be a sharp reduction. This 600,000 number that I put up here, this is just the beginning. This thing is going to, it's going to change the way kind of Amazon, whether it's a manufacturing facility. We know Amazon deal with consumer products, but it's going to affect the automotive industry. It's going to affect other industries that pick up parts and assemble kind of different things. This AI and these robotics is going to affect all that. So you guys need to be looking for y'all escape plan. Share this with a friend or a family member that you know is working in a plant, because their job is definitely not safe. Let's continue to see what your boy Ty is talking about.
That job every day. You're going to see more of the unstructured fields, right? So you're going to see green robot that we call Proteus that can move big cargoes of packages to the right dock at the right time. You're going to see many more manipulation systems that we have in there, eliminating kind of the repetitive motions that we have. No one wants to lift a 50-pound box all day.
But you see how he slid that in there? He's saying, hey, we're going to do this that's going to avoid the repetitive motions. Who's doing the repetitive motions? He didn't say that, but then he goes on to say, nobody wants to lift a 50-pound box all day. So he's telling you who's doing the repetitive motions. Humans are. So if this thing is replacing humans, the humans are SOL, man. Hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down and being able to connect the dots a little bit on this one. Let's hear a little bit more of what he has to say, and then we'll move on.
Robin does that. Cardinal does that, moving it into some of these Proteus-bound carts that we have. You're going to see much more collaborative robotics, right? So that's where we build our robotic systems to enable people, to augment what people are capable of. And we really believe in the philosophy of people and machines working together. How can we build a tool set that enables our employees to do their job not only more efficiently, but also with better safety in mind?
All right, so there's this robot arm called Blue Jay. You just talked about it. You guys are using this AI agent called Illuna. And then you're also working with augmented reality glasses to be worn by drivers.
Man, that's pretty much the end of that. But I will say this. He's not saying it. He's talking about humans working with robots. Man, look at, if you don't think that these humans is going to replace, these robots going to replace humans, you are crazy. Now, still going to be some humans, but if Amazon has 1 million people working for them, it's going to be a fraction of the people that needs to work with the robots. So, maybe if you're working at Amazon, you probably need to start thinking about kind of how to operate these robots and kind of dealing with AI and stuff like that, because again, these AI is just going to take these robots are going to take over. And for good reason, man. People are lazy. I remember I had this, and I was back in law school at this point. This is a funny story. I had a band company, a transportation company, and it was taking people back and forth to work at the factory. It's like Herman Miller, one of the popular factories in Muskegon, and that business failed horribly. But I learned firsthand that people are lazy. Man, one guy called off one time because he wanted to watch the BET Awards. He like, man, I called off, man. I'm trying to watch the BET Awards. So this is the mindset of these people. And Amazon getting these calls every day, people trying to call off. They don't want to work because of the BET Awards or because they too high, whatever the case may be. Amazon and these other manufacturing facilities, they tired of that. They making these robots. You go ahead and call off if you want to, Keyshawn. It's probably going to be your last time calling off because we're going to have this robot take over your job. So I learned firsthand in that transportation company that I had while I was in law school, or that started when I was in law school, that, man, people are lazy. They lazy. They complain. And Amazon, hey, if I know that, I know Amazon know that. So they're going to provide these robots to be able to, like I said, take over the job. They're going to keep the good people, because there's a couple solid people that's working at the factories and willing to work and don't complain and be positive. But most of y'all lazy, man. Y'all lazy. And Amazon is coming out with a way to what's the name. So again, let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. Put that in the chat. Put your question in the chat. Put your comment in the chat. If you want to just say what up to your boy, put that in the chat as well. Hey, the billing rate is almost $400 an hour. So this is probably going to be the only time that you're going to be able to talk to me for free or talk to a patent attorney for free. I know a lot of times it'd be hard to get in touch with us. So kind of put your question in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do have, go check out the book, Got IP. I'm not going to talk about it a lot. We got one more thing to catch up on. We're going to go through this lawsuit with Anheuser-Busch, but go check out the ebook, Got IP. That's kind of been flying out the shelves lately. So go check out that. We do have a comment here. We got Brandon in the building. What up, though? What up, though, Brandon? Where you at these days, man? You be moving around a little bit on me. We're gonna finish up here with this lawsuit of the week. So let's kind of get to that. Please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. We got vodka lemonade. So you have, and just let me know, do you guys think that these are the same? The whole is a trademark infringement. We're gonna pull up the lawsuit and go through it live here in a second. And I'm gonna be in and out. I'm gonna make it quick because this is gonna be the last session of the day of the live. But you have Surfside, you have Skimmies, I think it's called. And the whole point of trademark infringement is a likelihood of confusion. Do you think that two marks, it can be a logo, it can be a word, or it can be the whole, like the trade dress, the look and feel of something? If those things are confusingly similar, then it's trademark infringement. So when me telling you guys that, as we kind of look at this at the beginning, do you think that this is trademark infringement? I think Surfside is the plaintiff and Skimmies is the defendant. Clearly, the names are different, but do you think the overall look and feel of the can, this vodka lemonade? I don't really do vodka lemonade. I'm more of a wine guy these days. But to the extent that you like the vodka lemonade, I know a couple ladies out there that like this. Let me know before we get off into the lawsuit. Let's put on your law school hat and let me know whether or not you think that these are confusingly similar. Do you think this is trademark infringement? Clearly, the names are different. But do you think the can overall, both of the cans are similar? If yes, then it's trademark infringement. If not, then it's not trademark infringement. Well, does Mike Brown box say? The branding is looking very, really? All right, look at, well, you with the plaintiff Surfside. She said the branding is looking, is very similar. Okay, so we're going to go through the lawsuit and see. But another one of the things I do want to tell you guys is Skimmies, that's owned by Anheuser-Busch. And this is why I want you guys to entrepreneurship, start businesses, protect your intellectual property. I want to pull up here really quickly what Anheuser-Busch owns, all the brands that they own. Y'all will be surprised. So Anheuser-Busch is getting sued in this one. So they're the defendant. But we're going to go through here really quickly all the brands that they own. And y'all going to know these brands. So these are the brands that Anheuser-Busch, they own. They own Michelob Ultra. I like Michelob. They own Stella. I don't really get down with Stella. I've never heard of Kona. I heard of the Lime Margarita. I'm not a big fan of those. Neutral. I heard of that. Obviously, Busch Light, Bud Light, and Budweiser. We all have heard of Bud Light and Budweiser as well as Busch Light. So Anheuser-Busch, who's getting sued in this case, these are all the brands that they own. So again, they're the defendant in this case, but they're a big dog. So don't get that twisted. And it's kind of refreshing, to be honest with you, because a lot of times the big dog is going after the little guy, but it seems like in this case, the little guy is going after the big dog. Let's see what else my brown box says. She says, yes, the format layout is very similar. They got the gradient on the bottom, the icon behind the name, and the border at the top. Hey, look it. They would agree with you. I think it was statewide or something like that, but we'll pull up the lawsuit here in a second. What else does my brown box say? Yes, the format layout is very similar. Okay, so this seems like a duplicate. No, hold on. They've got the gradient on the bottom, the icon behind the name, and the border at the top. They remove. They have. Okay, so it seems like she's saying that the border at the top, they both have a border. This kind of border is more gradient similar to the bottom. I do agree that the gradient is the same at the bottom. However, the shape is different. Again, I just think the names are different, Surfside and Skims, which, again, that doesn't matter if the overall look and feel of it is the same from a trade dress perspective. I do agree with you on a gradient. The gradient is different, a different shape, but it is a gradient nonetheless. It seems like at the top, they have more of a solid one as opposed to the gradient. They are similar. I will give you that. But let's kind of take a look at the website. Not the website. Let's take a look at the lawsuit here. Pull it up and see some of the additional things that they're talking about. So let me kind of pull it up here for you guys. Is this it right here? Okay, here we go. So this is a lawsuit, man. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but I do want to go through it. So the plaintiff in this case is Stateside Brands. So that's Surfside. So Stateside, which is the plaintiff, I think if I recall correctly, they have the can on the left, and then Anheuser-Busch, and then their affiliated companies are on the right with Skimmies, I think. So let's kind of go through it here. I'm gonna kind of cherry pick this thing. So Surfside immensely popularity is attributable not only to its quality ingredients and innovative flavors, but also to the instantly recognizable product design of the Surfside can. The combination of a stylized gradient design on the bottom third of the can can compromise of a layered color shifting brands and white background overlaid with the sun design and a product marking the top 2/3 of the can and the colored rim around the can drawn from the color scheme of the bottom. So that's essentially what my brown box is saying. She's like, hey, look, you see this gradient at the bottom? Both of them they got the color around it. Skimmies is not a gradient, but Surfside is. My brown box definitely agrees with all this that the plaintiff is saying so far. Let's go to when consumers encounter the Surfside can up close and from afar in ballpark, stadium, stores, and everywhere else it is sold and used, they recognize this unique source identification for Stateside. You can see a number of the cans here at the bottom. Let me know if anybody in the comment or in the chat disagrees with my brown box, and why do you guys disagree? I know they have the sun Surfside. I guess both of them have the sun behind the name, so that doesn't help out. Seeking to trade off the tremendous goodwill Stateside has built in this highly recognizable, extremely popular, and hugely successful Surfside beverages, Anheuser-Busch recently introduced its own ready to drink alcoholic iced tea. So this is essentially what I have here on the picture of the bottom left. Again, they both have the sun. The name is different. My brown box doesn't care that the name is different. She like, hey, look, they both got the gradients at the bottom, and she doesn't even care that the gradients are a different shape. She like the fact that they both have the gradients. They both have this solid kind of upper or a colored upper rim, along with the sunshine. It's trademark infringement, and like I said, she has a good argument with this one. Some more cans. Hey man, Skimmies didn't do themselves a favor. I'll tell you that. Kind of does look similar when you look from them side by side like that. And they have them Surfside Skimmies. Man, the more I'm looking at this, the more I think I'm agreeing with you, my brown box. Anheuser-Busch could have selected from a vast universe of design elements to create a can that stood on its own. Instead, it opted to mimic Stateside and free ride off its popular and successful Surfside design. Let's see, Stateside therefore seeks to enjoin Anheuser-Busch unauthorized use of the Stateside Surfside trade dress and to recover actual damages, Anheuser-Busch profits, and other relief, including costs and attorney fees. So we're going to skip the parties. We're going to go down to the facts. We're going to skip jurisdiction and venue. We're going to go to the facts. So founded in 2013. So Stateside, like I said, they're a relatively newer brand. They're only 12 years old. It's a successful, popular, and well-known Philadelphia, and they based off of Philly. Shout out to Will Smith. In 2015, Stateside launched its first product. Hey, it founded in 2013, but it launched its first product in 2015. I guess that R&D took 2 years. Stateside Vodka. Since then, Stateside Vodka has experienced great commercial success, beloved by consumers in Philadelphia, where the product was first launched, and across the country. Let me know in the chat, have you ever had Surfside Vodka? I've never had it. I've never seen it, to be honest with you. But it seems like they are pretty good commercially across the country as well as in Philly. To capitalize on the success of Stateside Vodka and looking for ways to expand its product portfolio, in 2021, Stateside made its first foray into the RTD beverage space by launching its Stateside Vodka Soda. Yeah, I'm with you, my brown box. I've never heard of it. But man, it's one. Man, they slowly but surely making its way around. It was it's a mocktail. It was on Shark Tank last year. I forget where she started, but I saw it it's a corner store right up the street from me that mocktail had made its way in. So they kind of slowly but surely continue to expand. And even American, I just interviewed this guy, so check out that interview coming out this week. And they were on Shark Tank a couple weeks ago. It's called American Dead Brewing. They started in a DC area, and they just recently got some stuff in Michigan. So I interviewed Ryan Kuchar, the co-founder. I interviewed him last week. Again, it was a Shark Tank company. They just made their way in Michigan. So these stuff, even though they're small companies, they slowly but surely make their way throughout the country. What is Brandon saying? I've never heard of Stateside Vodka. Me either. But to be honest with you, I've never heard of Skimmies either. But I guess Skimmies, they owned by a big dog in Anheuser-Busch. You see the Surfside, in case you guys wonder what a 12-pack is that? Is that a 12-pack? They low in calories, only 100 calories. The overall appearance of Surfside beverage, created by the combination of the following features, forms a non-functional and distinctive trade dress. So the importance of this, because when you're trying to protect trade dress or the overall look and feel of something, it has to be non-functional. It can't be a functional aspect of it. If it's functional, then it's considered kind of really more so on the patent side of things. You can't protect it by way of a trade dress. And trade dress and design patents are very similar. However, trade dress, they're looked at a little bit more extensively because trade dress is a subset of trademark law. And trademark, if you guys been following my channel for any length of period of time, trademarks last forever as long as you're using them. Whereas design patents, they only last for 15 years. So to the extent that you can get a trade dress over design patent, you probably want to do it just because it lasts longer. However, I will say that it's going to be tougher to get that trade dress protection compared to getting your design patent. So I do want to put that out there as we kind of continue to go through this thing. But let's see what some of their non-functional distinctive features. A stylized gradient design on the bottom third of the can. Yeah, we talked about that. My brown box agrees with them on that. It's distinctive. A white background overlaying with the sun design and a product trademark in the top 2/3 of the can, and a colored rim around the top of the can, drawn from the color scheme of the bottom. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And they even lay it out. I actually like this complaint. This complaint is laid out really well. They even laid it out. Number one, that gradient. Number two, that white background with the sun in the back, followed by the name Surfside, and then the colored rim. I like this complaint. It's laid out really well. Launched in 2022, the Surfside beverage was an overnight success. And this is another reason why y'all should start y'all companies, start y'all brands, because y'all never know what's going to hit. Seems like according to this, when it launched in 2022, it was an overnight success. It grew 563% in just its second year, from selling 200,000 in 2022, 200,000 cases to 1.3. Hey, man, if y'all not doing entrepreneurship, I'm not sure what y'all missing out on. And then in 2024, so last year, it did 4.9. So it's been crushing. You got to think, this is a relatively new company. They founded in 2013. The first product launched 10 years ago in 2015. And then they came out with that vodka 3 years ago. They went from 200,000 cases to 1.3 million cases to damn near 5 million cases. Stateside has earned many millions of dollars from its sales Surfside products. Let's continue on here. Starting with this iced tea flavor, Stateside has expanded the Surfside product line to offer a wide range of other flavors. Okay. Seems like they was in Forbes. Hey, man, when you make it to Forbes, you big time. America's fastest growing canned cocktail isn't a seltzer. It's the popular brand offer of iced tea, vodka, and lemonades. What does my brown box says? Curious to see the box of Skimmies. We're going to get to that one, hopefully. Let's see here. So this is a little bit more of a Forbes article. I do want to get to it as well. So this paragraph 22 is just talking about all the publications that was in that Surfside was in, CNN. Let's see here, so forth and so on. See Surfside. What is this? Facebook page, the IG. Damn, did they got billboards too? They did some marketing and advertising. I'll tell you that. Seemed like they was at some baseball games, Cleveland. That's interesting, given that they started in Philly, but they made its way to Cleveland. It looked like ticket giveaway. A key part of the commercial success and tremendous popularity of Surfside is essentially its trade dress. As a result of Stateside widespread sales and extensive promotion of the Surfside products and trade dress, consumers of the RTD beverage have come to associate the Surfside trade dress as a unique identifier, exclusively associated with one source, namely Stateside. There you go. Some more marketing. Seems like for the ladies, if you want a bikini, you can get that. It's a little bit interesting, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. I guess this is a fan to the right. That's what that's about. To the one, hey fellas, if you want some swim trousers, look like they offer that as well. Hey, I was when I was doing these reaction videos today, your boy Serena Williams' husband, who I guess owns Reddit or co-founded Reddit or founded Reddit, he said your brand not popping until somebody get it tattooed on you. That's how you know when your brand popping, when somebody get it tattooed on you. And it looks like this woman, she loves Surfside so much that she got the can tattooed on her forearm. Talk about love. That's crazy. Seems like a couple people got it tattooed. They had to be doing a giveaway. If you get the name tattooed on, you get free what's the name for life or something. So let's go with Anheuser-Busch wrongful activities, and we'll finish it up here. Founded in St. Louis. Shout out to St. Louis. I went to the Red Wings versus St. Louis game yesterday. The Red Wings came back from 4-0 to win 6-4. It was a crazy game. Missouri in the mid-19th century, Anheuser-Busch is one of the world's largest beer companies. I just showed you guys that. In 2019, Anheuser-Busch expanded into RTD canned cocktails. In 2025, Anheuser-Busch launched a new vodka soda. So Anheuser-Busch just launched that vodka soda this year. Instead of competing in the RTD industry on a level playing field, they essentially try to piggyback. I really like the way this lawsuit is laid out. So you see Skimmies here. Again, according to Mike Brown box, he agrees with Stateside. Or she, yes, agrees with Stateside. She likes the gradient, even though they try to switch up the gradient a little bit in the profile. It still has a gradient at the bottom. It has a solid color around the rim, and they got a sunny background. Hey, look at my Brown box, man. I was kind of leaning towards Skimmies, but as I'm kind of going through this, I kind of skim these lawsuits just to see if it's entertaining enough to talk about. But as I'm going through this, man, I think I agree with you a little more and more. The tracking element, so we kind of went through that already. Then we're talking about injury to Stateside in the public. Anheuser-Busch unauthorized use of Stateside Surfside trade dress is likely to cause confusion. Do they have actual confusion? They're just talking about that they knew it was willful and reckless. Yada, yada, yada. As a direct and proximate result of Anheuser-Busch willful action, Stateside has been and will continue to be irreparably harmed. They ain't talking about none. And yes, so forth and so on. So it seems like my Brown box, like what you say? Hey, you didn't kind of convince me. But she said, I may have missed this, but which brand came first? Surfside. So Surfside came first. So Surfside was in 2013. They founded in 2013. They had their first product in 2015. And it seems like the vodka, let's go back up here. I think the vodka was launched in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back up here. But to answer your question, Stateside was first. So they launched the vodka in 2019. And it seems like, according to at least the lawsuit, Anheuser-Busch Skimmies was in 2025. They launched it in 2025 here. Paragraph 31. They launched it in 2025. Seems like they entered the space, the RTD canned cocktail space in 2019 when they bought a company. And then, but they launched in 2025 a similar product, the vodka product, Skimmers. So, yeah, you're definitely, it seems like, I don't know. I'm seeing your angle more and more. I do think that skimmies, whatever how you pronounce it, they do have some they have some argument points, but it seems like I don't know. The more you read the lawsuit, obviously the lawsuit is going to be written in a way that's more persuasive to stateside. But it kind of does look like Anheuser-Busch trying to kind of bite or trade off the goodwill of stateside. And look, man, I'm for the little guy. The fact that you see a lot of these big companies, they a lot of times try to attack the little guy. And I think they do that in a way that's unfounded. In this case, you got a little guy coming after a big dog. So I appreciate that. And I tell people all the time, hey, man, if somebody's infringing your intellectual property, whether it's trademarks, patents, copyrights, whatever the case may be, you have to go after them. If you're not going to go after them, you might as well not even try to get intellectual property. And really, you might as well not even try to start a business because it's going to be confrontation. What they say, you're not even popping until somebody try to bite off of you. So you should look at it as a kind of a badge of honor in a weird way. So, and another thing that I did want to talk about before I let you guys go is these big companies, when you think of the Nikes, when you think of the Anheuser-Busch, one of the good things about this is when they try to enter a space, they're not starting from scratch. Amazon the same way, Google, Microsoft, they're looking to build companies who've kind of did the legwork already. So that's another reason why you should start a business, because to the extent that you got 5-10 years in the game, and then you've kind of made millions of dollars and sold in this case millions of cases of your beverage, a big dog will buy you out. They'll buy you out for $1 billion, for $500 million, for $100 million. Next thing you know, you can go into the next thing and kind of be wealthy and generationally wealthy at that point. So just kind of keep that in mind, where a lot of times when these big dogs enter a space, they're not entering it from the ground level. They're going to buy a company that's already have done the legwork. They're going to pour their jet fuel on it and go from there. So again, just kind of keep that in mind as you're starting these businesses, making sure you're protecting your intellectual property. Again, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. This was a good one, man. I hadn't done one in a couple weeks. I've been kind of doing some traveling, but I'm back here for the next couple of weeks doing these every Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. To the extent that you are not already, subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and go check out the ebook, Got IP. This is a step-by-step guide from you coming up with an idea all the way to you monetizing that ideal. And it's every step in the way from manufacturing, marketing, so forth and so on. I'm so confident about my ebook that I'm doing it for myself in real time. I've hired a product design team to kind of bring my product to life, and I'm taking it through the steps. And on my Patreon, I'm not sure if Brandon is here, but if he's here, hopefully he can pin my Patreon to the top. And it's going to, every video I'm gonna upload the video, me talking to the design team, filing the patent applications, all that. I'm uploading it to it, and I'm bringing on people who I've interviewed to come answer any questions and kind of give you their tricks of the trade as well. So definitely go check out that Patreon. There's gonna be a lot of value given out there. Let me see here as we protecting it. There you go. I appreciate that, Brandon. So that's that, man. And if you guys don't have anything else, I think that's all I have for today, man. This is a good one. We approaching 50 minutes. Try to keep these things to 50 minutes to an hour. And this is going to continue to grow, man. We have passed we approaching 5,000 subscribers. And I'm going to make a lofty goal by the end of the year, which we got a couple more months. I'm trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. We got a couple cool things that's coming down the pipeline. So definitely go check out the videos, go subscribe to the channel, go, check out the Patreon. And hey, man, I enjoy doing this. Intellectual property, as always, protect that IP. I'll see you guys next week. Guys, take care.